Right. Happy Friday, everyone. The 14th of March. Full moon night. Are we going to get a dump or are we going to get a pump? Per the moon chart girlies. We're getting quite close into that 84 5k liquidity on Bitcoin. However, I was just quickly saying I don't really want to spend too much time on this, but that's not the right chart. I don't like that. Just get on this one quickly. I'll just briefly saying that due to the multiple tests of the weekly open, if we don't make a new high here or again at the March Open, it's quite likely that we do another leg down. Just due to this little break and the amount of times we tested it. So we really want to gain something on this sort of like push up. If we don't, there is a possibility that we could just ping in here for a little bit, but that'd be fine. That'd be desirable over the weekend. But anyway, not too much change here. And I will just quickly tell you that the long to short ratio, we hit a nice low at 4 a.m. on the 13th of March, so a few hours before I did my stream. It was 1.58 longs to shorts. We hit a high of 2.42 at midnight last night, or sorry, not midnight. I should stop saying the hours. Daily close, and then since coming down a little bit from then of 2.42 to around 1.83. So yeah, still a decent amount of longs in the market. And if I go to some of the orders quickly, just so you guys know, there is a couple orders being filled here at 83.1, and then there's a couple hundred Bitcoin at 83.5. And nothing below us until 80k now. So there's a few orders stacked at 80k. We'll have to see if they get pulled or not. But yeah, a couple things holding us down at 83.5. Be nice if we can just go sideways for a bit this weekend and build up some liquidity. Anyway, that's enough on Bitcoin. Oops. ETH and MicroStrategy. Yes, sirs. I need to redo these charts so badly. Is this a fresh chart? Yeah, it's a fresh chart. So ETH, yeah, there's not really any change since yesterday. I mean, this area is obviously an area of support and an area of demand. If we don't gain something really locally, this is obviously the weekly open changes the trend. That's the gain that obviously means that this is the bottom. For now, I think it's quite likely that we test in here again, 1,800 or below, just due to the local structure looking a bit meh. So far, we've defended this low nicely. We want to make a new high at least above here. We're just in a really tight little range. Um, and yeah, there's actually not too much to say on this. We need to do something. Something needs to happen on this. Right now, it's just a whole lot of nothing in it. You either want to see a test of here, where you can possibly short for a retest of the low, or it gains it and you go higher, great, up to March, fine. Conversely, a test of here might lead to a short of the low again, or we just locally fail it here and go for this again. I think right now it's just a bit of a waiting game. I mean, I'm long from this wick. I've de-risked, so if we do come down, I might long again, maybe with a tight stop. But yeah, it's just it's slightly contentious right now, as we're obviously still in a downtrend, and there's nothing here that changes that. We're just on major support. we're on major support. You'd expect a sort of bounce to the weekly open at least, and then yeah. So I would expect us to test the weekly open just on the balance of probabilities that we've done this wick into demand, and we're still in a downtrend. So you'd think that and then a new leg down would probably be the most probable outcome. But yeah, kind of just a whole lot of nothing, to be honest. There's not really much interest in me trading this at the moment, especially as I'm already in a position. It just doesn't interest me a lot. Let's have a look at MicroStrategy, Mr. So yeah, I think I've charted this once. Is that a weekly swing? So this area from the weekly open to this swing is an area of interest. And if I go to the weekly swing will be sort of November and around about the blue line, the bottom blue line. So we're definitely in an area of interest for a bounce. However, I don't like this. I don't like this retest here. That's a bearish retest. We're currently we kind of need to wait for the market to open to see if we can gain the weekly open. But even if it does that, I'll probably say that we might be in for a little bit more pain here. And the Stuber setup would probably agree with me. Just switch out to that. Take that off. Whoops. So yeah, the Stuber's coming in between sort of here and let's say here. This area. So I think that would probably be the golden if we get the rejection of yearly open and then come into sort of 180. So basically, actually, 165. If you see 165 on MicroStrategy, pretty decent time to buy. If you see 180 on Tesla, also a pretty decent area to load up. So in the local price action, yeah, it looks slightly bearish. The gain that you want to see is this sort of block and this high here. Oh, it's just way too much on my chart already. This high and sort of this block is what you want to gain for higher. As of right now, I think this is probably going to go lower. But the market can turn around. We've had big dumps and we could be due for a bounce. However, just be wary that if we do gain that, there is another Stuber, like a reverse Stuber, up at these highs, or the December could be an area of resistance as well. But yeah, that would be positive for me if we could gain that. That's a bit roughly placed. Could possibly even do it from there. I think that's a little bit better actually. Just from the local one. Yeah, that's MicroStrategy for me. Arweave. I haven't heard of Arweave and... How do I spell that? Is that the ticker? Arweave. Is it AR? Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's get the Qcoin chart out. Turn these off for a second. Oof, nasty, nasty, nasty. Unfortunately, quite a lot of like excuse me, quite a lot of mid to micro cap altcoins look like this, where you sort of like you obviously have a base, you have a pump from the start of 24, and I think a lot of people sort of, myself included, thought we were going to hold somewhere in here. This is so badly drawn, but sort of like anywhere here. But right now, doesn't seem to be the case. I'm not sure if this is. We could be quite close to something due to us being on that weekly swing right now, and we're getting quite a positive weekly candle here after this close. Let's put that there. I would say this is quite important to go back. This one here at 8.4. If we can gain that back, it'll be pretty good. In the local stuff, we are actually gaining this on this 4-hour close, so that's the first sort of good sign. Um, yeah, it just looks a bit wrecked like everything else. Obviously, it's very bottomed in terms of like an alt like alt most altcoins look very bottomed like this. And yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Like you obviously could go slightly lower, 4.8, 4.9, and then this is like the floor down here at 3.9. So you are definitely close to some sort of bounce. If you're trading this with leverage, then yeah, this is the first gain that matters on this 4-hour close. If you're looking at spot, then yeah, it just looks fine to buy for spot, at least just for a little bounce up. That March level is kind of, yeah, is definitely looking interesting. As in the short term, we could probably, if we gain that, see that. If you're leverage trading this, something like that. So 4-hour close above this swing, lovely. Retested the weekly open, which is also the weekly swing that I just marked out from here at the base of the move, and then a step off into March. Sorry, that's not that's an even older swing actually. That's this swing here, and then we can target this swing that I circled, which is also the March level. It definitely looks interesting. I actually quite like these sort of things where it's very obvious where you can put your stop and where you can bid. And by that I mean it's obvious that we're having a change of character due to this 4-hour close. If we get this, if we get the close, I'm talking about if we get the close here, because it's not confirmed until 31 minutes. Easy back test of the weekly open, which is also the old swing that I just charted out, and then a very clear March level with some decent take profits on the way. Maybe some decent ones in there, with the full one being here. And you don't really want to fall back into this range if you retest the weekly open. But yeah, not looking bad, man. Not looking bad at all. Let's just check on a couple of things that people asked me yesterday. Kato, did not play out, but it actually failed on the hour after I ended my stream. So this 1 hour close broke a lot of stuff, and then we bearishly retested here. I mean, you probably didn't have your stop too far below this, so not the worst. Maybe like 2-3%. So that did not play out. What about Fartcoin? Someone asked me about Fartcoin. Yeah, so I think I said to short probably in here. So we didn't even get it. We actually got a really bearish retest of the previous daily open, and just straight dumped it to the 618. 16% though. Yeah, so both didn't really play out. I guess Fartcoin kind of did, but very weakly. But yeah, no hits yesterday, unfortunately. Oh, what's happening with my internet? A little bit of a slow poke. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say. I guess I can just. I guess I can just. If anything, if you want me to chart anything. If not, I'll let you guys go and enjoy your weekend. I might do a bit of scalping on Popcat this weekend. I feel it coming. I feel it coming here. It might be time to redo my charts as well. Ooh, injective. This is looking decently interesting. This is kind of what we want to see ETH do, by the way. At least try and gain something. Right now, if you look at this, and then I go back to ETH, it's just like, ugh. Yes, trying to do something. Ew. So yeah, at least this is trying to gain above this high right here. We'll have to see if it does it on the 4 hour. I don't really have that much hope. I'd rather just go sideways on the weekend, to be honest. No more CME gaps for me. And then it will bring the volatility, the scalping into Popcat a little bit. Actually could be something a little bit local on here. I mean, you can really get in these nitty-gritties and be like, okay, yeah, possible area of short on here. Stop. Where's my stop gonna be? Just up here, 1%. Perfect. Can hit that on 10x. Where's my TP gonna be? First one, 618, 3%. Perfect. Full one, 4 to 5%. It's just a beautiful trade, isn't it? I actually really like that. So that's what I mean when I say if you have like a working scalping strategy and something is very volatile, you can scalp out some nice stuff. But just make sure you're controlling your risk and your leverage. The reason why I take this on 10x is because the stop can be at 1%, so that's 10% on 10x. If from here to here, was 2%, I would say 5x, 3%, 3x, maybe 4 if you're feeling frisky. Just so you can understand how I map out some scalps and some trades and some risk management. If possible, could you please explain in Algo Trendmaster the shaded green and red area above and below the candles? Algo Trendmaster. So Algo Master or Trendmaster? I'm slightly a bit confused on what specifically you're asking. Trend. So you said the shaded green and red area above and below the candles. Could you tell me? Could you send me a screenshot? Because I've got mine completely configured for this. Unless I have a. Unless I. He means the bands. Oh, you mean these? Oh, right. Um, thank you, Cal. Is that what you mean? The purple bands? Yes. Okay. Perfect. So, in Trendmaster, what I like to use quite a lot. This is literally the only thing I use Trendmaster for is reversal warning and combination bands. Now, combination bands are a combination of Bollinger, Donchain, and Keltner. So, you can use them to sort of predict where areas of reversal are going to be, or sort of if a move is about to happen. So we know Bollinger bands obviously get really tight just before a big move, but Keltner and Donchain also sort of think of them like stabilizers for trading. So the way that I use them in scalping is that if we get two sort of like a wick into the band and a W reversal, it's basically indicative of a potential area where we could reverse. Now, if you sort of couple them up with oscillators, momentum, and like basic price action, for example, this diverged here, or it kind of diverged into the band, big dump. What's another explanation? That's not really that good. W reversal in the band, coupled with a bull div and an oversold area. Yeah, we got a little bounce, but then immediately sold back. Just be aware that if you're using this against the trend, you do get things like this quite a lot of the time. And obviously price action and trend is always your friend. But if you're just trying to scalp out a few percent, especially with the Stuber pocket, they can come in really handy for potential areas of reversal. And even if they're not areas of reversal, sometimes you still get a couple percent on a wick. So, for example, that's only 1.6%. But let's see if I can find another example. This was not a reversal, but it still did 3.5%. And then we held, I guess, sort of like that flip and did another one. So yeah, I wonder if I can. What's quite volatile? Maybe XRP? No, that's not been swinging too much recently. Maybe Sui? Yeah, it's okay. There's a few touches, so one and a W reversal, but that's not really enough until we failed on this candle. So then you could take a short there for this big dump. Gets caught in the other band here. Support on this. Right up into the next one. Kind of doesn't really catch it. Comes back down. Gets caught again. Gets caught again. Gets caught again. So yeah, just obviously be careful if you're using this against the trend. It's way better in ranging markets. So the area when it performs the best is after a big dump or pump, so after this. And then if you go into the slightly smaller time frames, a lot of volatility can occur in sort of a range just after a high volume move to the upside or downside. I just like to use them for scalping, as they have quite a high hit rate incorporate sort of like momentum and then sort of like just some basic price action, especially over major levels or overlapping demands, you can just get some very high hit rates on trades. I should probably make an updated video about it. I think Max asked me ages ago and then I just never did it. Lol. Unfortunately. But yeah, that's how I use the combination bands. And I mainly just use them for scalping. And they're not like the god and messiah. Like, oh, we're in the band, we're gonna reverse now. Like, no, because as you can see, when we trend down, see this we got a slight bounce on the first one, just because we got the W reversal. It's still 1%. I mean, if you're scalping, you have enough time to de-risk. But just know that the trend will go against you. Uh, so just be careful. Nice little bit of area of confluence here. Possible TP, possible TP. Gets caught on the previous daily open here. Possible TP. TP. TP, TP. Maybe short actually. Double wicking, short. Down to here. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, let me stop my recording. Stop streaming.